Whoop. Morning.
Morning.
Ready for another fun-filled day?
Yep.
Good weather.
Yes, it's a good job that we didn't bring the car with air conditioning.
It's a fine time to be alive indeed.
Good morning everybody and welcome to Hopwood Services on the M5. Welcome to Auto Shenanigans as well. Hit the subscribe button, give us a like even though you've not even watched the video yet. Michaelwood opened in 1971 and it was originally intended to be just a small temporary stop, but over the years has extended into a full-blown service station. There was a bridge linking the two sides. That was demolished, I think in 2018 for health and safety reasons. So I'm a little bit disappointed. I love a bridge on this show, as we have established in every episode. Otherwise, for this place, there is also a David Fisher art installation, or at least there certainly once was. I think that was put in 1991. We're going to have a look around to see if we can find that. As you know, we've been on the hunt to try and find some of those this series. With no luck so far, maybe that will change today.
First car spot of the day, little drift specification MX-5. We're back in the Scandinavian Tipmobile, which currently has no engine lights for now. Good morning, good morning. Yes, hello, and well, welcome once again to Auto Shenanigans and all the motorway service stations. We've just been to Motorway Services, as you saw, on the M5, and are now heading northbound for our second stop of the day, which is Gloucester Services. Today's journey will take us from Motorway Services on the M5 all the way northbound to the M42, where we're going to pick up the M40 before heading south to our final stop, which will be Beaconsfield Services. So that's 8 in total. So that's 8 in total for today.
We are here at Gloucester Services on the M5. This is a service station like no other. Its sister site is T-Base Services just on the M6, and what makes these two service stations unique is that they are effectively independently owned. Gloucester Services opened in 2014, making it one of the newest service stations on the M5. Inside you'll find a farm shop, a butcher's counter and local crafts, and effectively produce that's all sourced locally rather than the usual collection of chain restaurants, KFCs, McDonald's. So if you are passing this way, it's definitely worth a stop in. What's interesting as well is you'll notice that the roofs of the main buildings at these places are, well, they're green, they're grass. I think that may have been part of the original planning, and at 4,000 square foot, it makes them some of the largest green roofs in the country, I believe.
You get 3 hours free parking, unlike the 2 at every other service station.
It's so lovely. We thought we'd have a little sit down and enjoy a moment because, as you can see, it's just a little patch of nature here rather than a service station, and I think everybody should make a visit down here. The farm shop has a wonderful selection: cheeses, meats, fresh pies, bread, pastry, everything that you could possibly need at a farm shop over inflated price. So you're sure to love it.
Parkour! Okay, so Gloucester Services complete. That's number 2 of 8 for today. We are just coming into Strensham Services now, so stop number 3. We will see you there.
Welcome to Strensham. It opened in 1962 and originally was a usual service, southbound, northbound, opposite one another. When the motorway was widened in 1991, they actually ended up relocating the northbound side, which is where we are, and that actually sits a mile up the road from the southbound, so it's a little bit odd in that arrangement that they are a mile apart. As a result of the relocation of the northbound side, it means that the northbound services is the only service station to have its own dedicated lane and access off the motorway. Normally it's off a junction or something like that, but if you come off the northbound, it is services only. It opened in 1962, as I say, and on the southbound side, there is what's called the Forgotten Lamppost, which, if you can find it, is the only surviving item from the 1960s service station, and I believe pretty much the oldest surviving item you're going to find on the motorway network and at all of the service stations. So it is just a lamppost, but it's been there quite a long time and it's not maintained. Nobody looks after it. It just seems to have been left. So Strensham Services is complete. I learned that they are home of the Midlands Air Ambulance Service. Certainly a very worthy charity. And I also got speaking to Sean, the unit manager there. Hello, buddy. Said I'd give you a shout out. You're probably never going to watch this video.
So our next stop will be Hopwood Services on the M42. So we are done for the M5, or certainly we've got to go up it a little bit, but then we are done for the M5 and it's going to be across the M42. Stop at Hopwood, join the M40 and then down from there. I thought I'd have myself a little bit of a continental breakfast, so I've got some fromage and I have some spiced salami stick.
Welcome to Hopwood Services on the M42. It opened in 1999 and unlike any other service station, this features a nature reserve, and I think it's the only service station which actually has its own nature reserve.
Hopwood is one of the few services with 2 levels that you can actually access. Big Starbucks upstairs, don't bother, the queues are always rubbish. Like a lot of welcome breaks, they have introduced Ben & Jerry's ice cream stalls, so this is one of several that have been recently introduced literally in the last few weeks. I'm yet to sample their delights. Have a little wander around the back of Hopwood and you might find this little nature trail almost. I don't know where it's going, but I am following it. Right, that's Hopwood Services taken care of. We are going to rejoin the M42 and link up to the M40. And our next stop will be Warwick Services. This brings us pretty much to the halfway point, so that's service station number 4 of 8 for today.
Okay, we're at Warwick Services, just off the M40. It's run by Welcome Break. In 2007, the Days Inn you see behind me had to close because of severe flooding. It took several years for it to reopen again, but that's all sorted now. Service station opened in 1996 and was originally going to be called Barnhill Services, but that was changed at the last minute, as these things do, to Warwick Services. Nice little sit down.
That's something special, isn't it?
We're at Cherwell Valley Services, just off the M40, which opened in 1994, and despite its name, is neither in the valley or drainage basin of the River Cherwell, so we're not sure why it's called that, but it is. This was the M40's first service station, and in 2010 the main building suffered quite a large fire which pretty much left it ruined, so the whole thing had to be rebuilt. Reopened in around 2012 and it's got quite an interesting architectural design feature. At one point there was talk of opening a Domino's Pizza here. Now if you remember from episode 3 when we went to Leeds Delamere Services, we realised that that was actually the site of the first Domino's Pizza at the service stations. That lasted less than a year before it closed. It obviously didn't work out financially and they just canned the idea completely, so didn't even bother here.
Okay, that is Cherwell Valley done, service station number 6 of 8 today. So we're going to rejoin the M40 and head down to our next stop, which is Oxford Services. Right, we have arrived at Oxford Services number 7 of 8 for today. Opened in 1998 by Anthea Turner. Within the first week of opening, the fire brigade had to be called out twice. Once because of a fuel leak at the filling station and a second time because of a deliberate fire started in the toilet building. There are a couple of interesting things to find. You have to use your initiative a little bit, and it may not be your sort of thing, but just around the corner there is an abandoned stretch of what used to be the A40 before motorways and dual carriageways came in and basically changed the whole road layout around here. In addition to that, just behind the service station, an old railway line runs. It was built in 1854 and was called the Wickham Railway. The track bed runs just next door. If you're Paul or Rebecca Whitick, it's probably right up your street. I would suggest pop down and see what railway things you can find. And finally, Oxford is the site of a pioneering system where they collect up surface water, because they've got a lot of flat roofs and flat car parks, effectively. They collect up the surface water and it's then drained away through a sustainable drainage system, it's called. And that effectively stops the area from flooding. The water can actually go somewhere and then be recycled and used for other things. This is one of the first sites that they had this system installed. Technically, Oxford Services has a bridge. I don't know how to get to it, though. Right, that is Oxford Services done. They have an absolutely lovely fish pond and fountain outside the front. If you grab a coffee, I would suggest have a seat and watch the fish go by. We're going to jump in the car, head down the M44, our last stop of the day, which is Beaconsfield Services. Well, hello, we have arrived at Beaconsfield Services, our last stop for today, so service station number 8 of 8. It opened in 2009 and has been a regular meeting spot for car enthusiasts ever since. Extra, the operators self-described this place as one of the most beautiful service stations pretty much in Europe. I can sort of agree. Out the back, if you go searching, you'll find a very quiet pond area. There's some lovely trees, foliage, bench areas, which is where we are now, and you can barely see the service station. As a result, this particular bit, I would agree, is particularly picturesque. In 2017, the Shell petrol station introduced a Pizza Hut Express in their petrol station, and not even a year later it closed down. I don't know what it is about takeaway pizzas and service stations, but Domino's tried and failed, Pizza Hut are trying and failing. And final interesting fact for Beaconsfield Services, and this was the little treat that I mentioned for you earlier, buddy.
Oh yeah.
There's a Wetherspoons pub here, and
Hooray,
it is the only service station with a pub on the entire network, from what I understand. Open with much controversy. A lot of people questioned, why do you need a pub at a service station when most people are driving? Well, I'll be driving from here on out, so I imagine my passenger may want to have a refreshing beverage before we head off. Right, so that is Beaconsfield Services done, number 8 of 8 for today, or to put it another way, that is 40 in total, giving us 54 left to do. So we're not far off halfway. That's going to be next episode. So join us in episode 6, where we will be going from London Gateway Services on the M1 all the way to Woodall Services on the M1. It's a literal straight drive up the M1, and I think that's going to be most exciting. So join us then. Give us a like and a subscribe, usual thing. It lets us know that you actually like these videos, and if you do, we'll carry on doing them. If you don't, we'll probably carry on doing them. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for stopping by. Anything else to add?
No.